This workflow I'm about to show you is going to change the way that you are working with raster data. And because I'm using elevation data in this scenario, stick around to the end where I'm going to show you my 3 go-to sources for elevation data. In this example, I'm a marine spatial planning specialist. I'm going to hold a workshop with my stakeholders to map the activity that's happening inside the exclusive economic zone, or EEZ, for Barbados. I want a lot of seafloor detail in my workshop map, so I'm going to need 5 things: the EEZ boundary data, the seafloor elevation data, a way to process the elevation data into a hillshade and a depth zone classification, a way to share the map, and a way to collect the location information from the stakeholders. My go-to source for up-to-date ocean boundary data is marineregions.org. Pick your format of choice. I'm going to go with GeoPackage. Now go to downloads.gebco.org. Just hold Control or Command on your computer and click and drag to select an area of interest, select TIFF, add it to your cart, and download it. To process the data, I'm going to use QGIS, a super powerful open source desktop GIS software. And to share the data with my stakeholders and collect information from them, I'm going to use Felt, the easiest way to work with maps online. One of the things that I love about both Felt and QGIS is the ability to just drag and drop your data set to load it onto the map, even if it's in a zip folder. When you load the EEZ data, be sure and select polygon and not lines. I'll explain in a minute. Let's talk about data processing. We're going to clip the boundary to the EEZ for Barbados, copy the clipped bathymetry layer, style one as a hillshade, style the other as a depth zone classification, and export it to put it on our felt map. We're going to take the DEM we exported and cut off everything on the outside of that EEZ layer, which is why we need polygons instead of lines for the EEZ, because clipping will only work with polygons. Use the selection tool to isolate just the EEZ for Barbados. Then search for Clip Raster by Mask. Use the seafloor elevation for the input. For mask, use the EEZ polygon. Be sure and check the Selected Features Only box, or it won't acknowledge our selection of the Barbados EEZ. Save it as a TIFF. We can get rid of these 2 now. Copy and paste this new layer. Rename one to hillshade and the other to depth zones. Open the style properties for the one named hillshade and set the type to hillshade. Let's tweak the sun angle to be a little more shadowy since there's actually no light illuminating the seafloor. Now the style properties for depth zones, choose single band pseudo color, and the interpolation is going to be discrete. Now let's add a custom bathymetry color ramp and change these breaks to align with the depth zones for the layers of the ocean. Now go back into the style properties for hillshade and change the blend mode to combine these 2 images together. Now I'm going to add a new layout, change the background of the layout to transparent, change the layout size to make it square, add the map, and we'll also turn off the background for the map. Export this as a TIFF and just drop it into my felt map. We can actually smooth this workflow out even more using the Add to Felt QGIS plugin. The layers won't be blended together like our export, but we can get a similar effect by just adjusting the opacity inside of Felt. Now I can just share it out and start collecting activity data from the stakeholders. And as promised, here are my top 3 sources of elevation data. Number 3, NaturalEarth.com is perfect if you're looking for already stylized elevation data. It's 100% free and you can trust the quality because it's maintained by very talented professional cartographers. Number 2, the National Map is an online app for accessing data from the US Geological Survey. Their data cover all of the US at a coarse resolution and most of the US at finer resolutions. And you can download the LiDAR and radar source data for their elevation models and use them for more advanced processing. Finally, at number 1, opentopography.org. You can access the USGS elevation data here too, but governments outside of the US are also uploading their elevation data, along with researchers and scientists. This is also a really easy way to download some popular global elevation data sets, like SRTM and Copernicus. They also host 10 different tools that you can use on their data. So you could come here to find elevation data, flip it to an area, process it, stylize it, and upload it to Felt, all for free. Go check out this video from Open Topography that dives into it in more detail. Their channel also has some excellent tutorials. Now get out there and go make some maps.